So year six, as we continue to think about our predictions that we can make, we might notice that we're on page 21, the narrator states, the first time I saw for myself what the Colonel was really like. And I want you to have a think about how that might show that the Colonel was going to have more impact on the narrator's life. And then I want you to think about whether they would be positive or negative impact. So I'll show you that passage. Okay, we can see that from page 21. It's the first time I saw for myself what the Colonel was really like was because of Big Joe. Okay, the first time I saw for myself what the Colonel was really like. Now, as I'm reading that, I'm noticing the word first. First is a comparative word. It shows that there's going to be other times that the narrator sees the Colonel's true personality. So first tells me there are going to be other instances. And in this instance, what we see is the Colonel reacting initially by ignoring people as he trots along. And then as the passage moves on, we see him cracking the whip and we see him shouting unpleasantly at people that he'll teach them. So here I'd say the word first shows it is likely to be one of many impacts on the narrator's life. So we can see that he's going to come back, he's going to revisit them. And the fact that it resulted in the Colonel cracking his whip shows him to be a negative character who's likely to have negative impacts on his life going forward. So that's an example of how we can make predictions and we can link our answers to the evidence from the text. What I'd like you to do is now think, well, we'd stopped on page 23 with Jimmy Parsons. How do you think Tommy and Charlie will react to Jimmy Parsons? Why do you think that? Your evidence from the text can be taken from that page, but also from the preceding pages up to page 23. What have you learned about Tommy and Charlie and how they would react to somebody being rude about Joe? What have you learned about how Charlie's given advice to Tommy about how he reacts to Jimmy Parsons? What have you learned about the dynamic around Tommy and Charlie and what happens if they do the wrong thing and how their mother treats them? What have you learned about these characters so far and how might it influence your prediction for how our narrator Tommy would react next? Once you've done that and written your answer as answer to a question, I'd like you to then write a short diary entry, 2 or 3 paragraphs. It doesn't need to be huge. It's just wherein you're thinking about Tommy and how he's feeling towards Jimmy. So it might be that Tommy had gone home, might be that Tommy's written in his narration book, his diary book, about how he's feeling towards Jimmy, how he feels, what he's feeling. So you can really unpick there how somebody's character might be formed and how somebody might be reacting to another character. Okay, so if you could write that diary entry. So the answer to question 2 and then a short diary entry as the other element of your predictive writing today relating to Private Peaceful. Thank you, Year 6.